Celebration! 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 Welcome, dear congregation, to another Verses at the Versed Temple of the Versed Church of the Congregation of the Denomination of the Philosophication of GoatVsFish. And celebration, celebration. For our musication, Vessel Sunshine, here at the Church of GoatVsFish.
Celebration!
Celebration!
Celebration for fish.
Yes! Celebration for fish, for GoatVsFish. The goatfish called out to the congregation. Are there any fish? Are there any fish in the sea of the fish? Any fish? Who would versus the goat? Who would versus the goat on this fine Verses of GoatVsFish? If ye be fish in this dear congregational celebrational, let us hear some celebration for fish. We've got Fitzcraft the fish, Fitzcraft the fish, celebration for fish, celebration for Fitzcraft the fish. Fitzcraft the fish declares fish in the Verses, and GoatVsFish shall add fish, one mighty fish, to the congregation of GoatVsFish. And we know that there are others. TML 81 declares fish, celebration for fish. That's a second fish in the congregation. Soul a little fish, soul a little fish, celebration for fish, celebration for fish. And now, as GoatVsFish, the goatfish calls out. Are there any goat? Are there any goat in the land? Are there any goat in the land of the goat? Who would versus the fish? Who would versus the fish? Celebration for goat, and as GoatVsFish called out to the land of the goat, Psychic Buckeye 12 has been watching for 15 consecutive verses. That's devotion to GoatVsFish. Celebration for goat, celebration for goat. Make some noise if you are goat in the congregation. Celebration for goat. Lord Saturn Goat, welcome to the congregation. Celebration for goat. Psychic Buckeye 12 the goat. Wow Mom the goat. But don't forget Fred and Ted the fish, says TML. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Sola Little subscribes to GoatVsFish for 4 months of celebration. Celebration for 4 months from Sola Little for fish. Celebration for fish. The contributions continue. The contributions continue. Celebration, celebration. And as we begin our verses, GoatVsFish shall do our morning contribution collections this Verses. Sunshine, if you could play us the kind of verses that really gets the goat and fish to open up their wallets and hearts to GoatVsFish. It is time for morning contributions. Celebration! Sold a little with 1,000 bits of contribution for fish! Celebration for fish! Soul a little has the soul fish, has the soul of fish! With a mighty contribution for fish towards the temple of the Church of GoatVsFish. Celebration, 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 celebration! Celebration! A celebration! Celebration for fish! A mighty contribution for fish! 1,000 glorious bits for fish! And now, the verses for morning meditation. As we begin our next verses, we leave the fenciness behind us. We get off of our behinds and choose goat or fish. But now is for contemplation and meditation on the one true verses of goat versus fish. You will have plenty of time to think of all of your distractions, for your mind to be racing from goat to fish and verses again. You know that there will be fancy thoughts in your future. Plenty of time for obsession, for aggravation, for irritation. But goat and fish now is a verses for meditation. Give yourself the gift of pondering only of goat versus fish, and clear your mind of all fenciness. Give yourself this gift of meditation, and as the congregation makes their presentation of monetization to Goat vs. Fish, allow Goat vs. Fish to give back to you this peace of mind, a piece of Goat vs. Fish. Goat versus fish. Goat versus Fish will now clear the verses so so that we may start afresh. Goat and fish, some dollars and cents may have been lost. But with our subscription to GoatVsFish and 10 glorious first American dollars from so little, the 5-hour Friday fund is now at $354.16. Once we reach 500 first American dollars, it will unlock a 5-hour Friday stream brought to you by GoatVsFish. The more you give to the congregation of GoatVsFish, the more the congregation gives back to you. It is true, it is true. They say GoatVsFish, what's in it for me? What's in it for you? What's in it for you? Is the one question true? Are you goat or are you fish? Are you goat or are you fish? We have welcomed the goat. We have welcomed the fish. And now GoatVsFish, the goatfish, welcomes even the fence sitters, welcomes the fence sitters to the congregation of GoatVsFish. We welcome the fence sitters who join us here in the congregation, ready to learn the wisdom of the verses. The celebration of the congregation. New Vegas fish, celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Cole J Racing, are you goat or are you fish? Hi-Fi Protege, are you goat or are you fish? I Can Fix Ember Heard, are you goat or are you fish? Behold, the fence creatures of many gathered in the congregation. It seems that perhaps some of them have even started some relations Why, Sunshine, look at these two fence creatures just nuzzling up against one another. They seem to have found a sort of fancy unification of their own right here in the congregation of Goat vs. Fish.
It seems like they're plotting a mutiny.
A mutiny?
Yes.
Some secret cabal of fence-sitters that are meeting during secret hours of the temple of Goat vs. Fish in an attempt to overthrow the new church and congregation?
Precisely, a coup on the verses.
Goat vs. Fish does not fear this. Are you attempting to coup Goat vs. Fish? Are you attempting to coup Goat vs. Fish? Now, in Versmerican English, we believe it's pronounced coup. But then again, we know that chickens live in a coop, so maybe we will just call it a coop for the sake of Goat vs. Fish. Bayonin 420 celebration. Let's get a celebration. Bayonin 420, 41 months of subscription. Celebration, yeah. Celebration, yeah. Bayonin 420, 41 months of subscription appreciation. Bayonin 420 celebration. That's another subscription for fish. And Hi-Fi Protege goes Goat. Celebration for Goat. I Can Fix Amber Heard. We are sorry to hear about your stream streak that was lost. But easy verses, easy fences, easy goats, easy fish. Allow Goat vs. Fish and keep those musications going. Allow Goat vs. Fish to regale you with some verses that Goat vs. Fish. What has Goat vs. Fish been doing in recent verses? Well, Goat vs. Fish climbed to the top of Mount Islip. Goat vs. Fish was led by a goat. A goat, of course, Kevin the Goat. Goat vs. Fish and Kevin the Goat climbed atop Mount Islip, and the goat did jest that it was named after a fish who tried to climb the mountain, whose fins were all slippery, and oops, I slip. It was Mount Islip here in California, Los Angeles, and Goat vs. Fish with Kevin over the verses of many hours did climb the mountain, did climb to the very top of the mountain, and oh, how the goat thirsted for the hydration. But hydration we brought. It was preparation. It was the verses of preparation. We brought the hydration. We brought the consumption during the great climb of Mount Islip. As we say here in the congregation of Goat vs. Fish, as is our devotion, any who come to the temple of Goat vs. Fish, who requests hydration or nourishment, will have it offered by Goat vs. Fish. For how are the goat and fish two verses unless they are well fed and well thirsted? And so with the preparation, we climbed to the very top and looked down upon the deserts of the Mojave. We looked at the very fault lines where the ground does quake, where they say ancient giant goats still roam beneath the surface of the earth, causing shakiness as they seek fish two verses. And so Goat vs. Fish can tell you it was great for the health of Goat vs. Fish. The very beating heart beating through your chest as you climb and climb and climb and then see the universe from on high. And so Goat vs. Fish has a special First announcement for the Church of Goat vs. Fish. Another dedication. The Church of the Temple of Goat vs. Fish shall be dedication as one of our services also to the health and fitness of the congregation. A dedication to the health and fitness of the congregation. Celebration for the health and fitness of the congregation. Celebration for fitness. Already we have shown this dedication to the fitness of the congregation for nice strong goat and fish, 2 verses, by doing our morning celebrations for over 100 morning motivations of goat versus fish. Just as a babana is a small nourishment and a thimble of hydration still can go a ways to help you on your thirst, even the humble morning celebrations has been a commitment to the fitness of the congregation. But we're going to take it verses further. We're going to take it a verses further. Goat vs. Fish is here to announce the formation of a Goat vs. Fish Goat Hiking Club. Celebration for the Goat Hiking Club. Celebration for Hiking Club for Goat. Hiking Club for Goat. Hiking Club for Goat. In the name of the goat, in the name of the goat. Goat vs. Fish is going to start with Kevin the Goat, who also happens to be the lawyer for Goat vs. Fish. And we are going to start exploration of the formation of a hiking club, where if you are here in Los Angeles, we will organization and announce on Church of Goat vs. Fish. Follow Church of Goat vs. Fish on all social media at Church of Goat vs. Fish, where you can, with your own hydration and your own preparation, your proper prior preparation, join Kevin the Goat and Goat vs. Fish on modestly difficult hikes all across the Los Angeles area. It is very goat to climb Goat Hiking Club. The announcement has been made by Goat vs. Fish, and it was written, and it was written, and it was written, and it was written, a service of the Church of Goat vs. Fish. For those of you not in Los Angeles, we invitation you to come to the Temple of Goat vs. Fish. And perhaps one of these verses you will come, especially for a hike with Goat vs. Fish. Or maybe the hiking club will travel across versus America. Very diverse crowd, very diverse crowd. Hi-Fi Protege says, I want impossible hikes we never complete. Hi-Fi Protege says, I want impossible hikes we never complete. You already have one, Hi-Fi Protege. It's called Goat vs. Fish. The verses that never ends. As long as you take another step, your hike is not done. But Goat vs. Fish says, safety first. Goat vs. Fish will not invitation anyone in the congregation to a hike that could not be completed. But of course, there is also responsibility upon you, dear congregation, to join the hike and the congregation in support of yourself and your fellow goat and fish. Safety first, safety first. Do not verses what you can't handle. Especially not in the verses of hiking beneath the beating hot verses. Hi-Fi Protege, you wouldn't want to fence it up for everyone there, would you? Make everyone have to turn back and take care of you? You wouldn't want to have everyone around you drop whatever it is they're doing just so they could come and find it is where it is that you are, where you need assistance, and carry you across Los Angeles to wherever it is that you need to go. Now, we would do it because GoatVsFish and the congregation would never leave you stranded there. Of course not. No, we care for one another here in the congregation of GoatVsFish. But no, Goat and Fish, we would never wish that upon our fellow congregation. None of this sabotage of the hiking of GoatVsFish. That's a sure way to lose your future invitation. Celebration Billy Mullen. Are you goat or are you fish? Laser focus. Are you goat or are you fish? Goat. Billy Mullen. Goat. Celebration more goat. Celebration more goat. Another verse announcement. Sola Little cried out, the fish cried out, but wait! I think fish need like a swimming congregation or group or walking group or something. GoatVsFish does hereby announce that in partnership with the GoatVsFish Goat Hiking Club, there shall also be a GoatVsFish Fish Swimming Club. Celebration more fish, celebration more fish. Celebrate more fish, celebrate more fish. Fish Swimming Club, Fish Swimming Club announcement. There are many public pools here in Los Angeles. And we will hear no disparagement of these glorious facilities. There are great public pools in Los Angeles with public hours. And Goat and Fish, GoatVsFish will as well set up unto you hours to join GoatVsFish for lap swimming and recreation for the fitness of the goat and fish. The GoatVsFish Fish Swimming Club shall versus the GoatVsFish Goat Hiking Club. Of course, fish are welcome to join the hike and goat are welcome to swim as well. You can't stop the verses. You can't stop the verses. In the name of the fitness of the goat and fish, GoatVsFish Goat Hiking Club, GoatVsFish Fish Swimming Club, and it was written. These are the services of the Church of GoatVsFish, 501c3, pending. Was there swimming at the top of the hike? Well, GoatVsFish can tell you this. When we went to Mount Islip, there was a lake there. Crystal Lake. Allow GoatVsFish to show you a picture. GoatVsFish will show you a picture now. GoatVsFish. GoatVsFish. Here comes the verse. But no, you don't go swimming in this lake. However, there are fish in the lake. Behold. Behold the view from atop the mountain. And there's a lake. There is a lake. And it's very fuzzily, but you'll just have to accept it. A lake atop the mountain. Celebration for lake. And were there fish in the lake? Were there fish in the lake? There were fish in the lake, and we posted them to the social media of GoatVsFish. And what was in the sky, and what was in the sky? Oh wait, here's the fish, here's the fish. Behold, the fish. Fish in the lake. And Kevin the goat did versus the fish. And then GoatVsFish looked unto the sky. And what did we behold?
Rainbow verses,
a mighty Sign of Goat versus Fish in the sky from Mount Islip. Behold, a rainbow of Goat versus Fish, a sign of the verses, a sign of the glorious, multifaceted, multicolored, fully congregational verses of Goat versus Fish. A verses, a blessing unto Goat versus Fish, a blessing unto the congregation. A rainbow in the sky. A rainbow in the sky. Celebration. Next sermonization begins now. Hey, Sunshine.
Hey,
That was a beautiful verses.
thank you.
Would you mind to do that verses again, except without Goat versus Fish yelling the next sermonization begins now so that we can use it in a future edit of Goat versus Fish?
I can do it again. That was a little sloppy.
One more verse, but before you do... Okay, now do it.
I'll take a breather for a second.
A breather for a second. Well, as you do, we have a messenger here in Goat versus Fish. A messenger has joined the congregation.
Hi, Laser Focus.
Hi, Laser Focus.
Thank you, Laser Freak Fish.
Lysergic Freak Fish. Celebration for Fish. Your fish is being recorded. Goat versus Fish has added religion and church services to the tags of the stream. And we have on YouTube, I'm a Messenger 9663 who says, Donald Trump is Jesus Christ. Interesting verses. Well, we happen to have... Is that Trump there in the congregation right there? Or is that Jesus Christ? It's hard to tell. Everyone comes by the Temple of Goat versus Fish. And so are you. Welcome to Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. The next sermon of Goat versus Fish begins now. It goes like this. Oh, it looks like... Oh, yeah, yes. Continuation. Many a verses when perusing the YouTubes, there will be recommendations for Goat versus Fish. How to grow your channel fast What are the recent best practices? How to go from 0 subscriptions to thousands. How to make verse American dollars easy. The algorithm demystified. And GoatVsFish pried at one of these verses. See what they had to say. And there was a verses in there that they called original content. Original content. Who would ever fathom such a verses? Original content. True artists attempting to make something new for you to view. And the question came to that one who was being interviewed, and they said, is there a place on YouTube for original content? Those who are trying to make something strange and different that doesn't follow all the same patterns that are out there, that we have seen a million verses before. Is there any place on YouTube for those who want to try experimentation with a different type of thumbnail? Any kind of new way to be seen. Something novel and fresh for the congregation. And the expert pondered this and responded emphatically and offensively, no. No, they said. There is no place for a truly original content on YouTube. Those who are trying to reinvent the wheel, they called it, that has already been invented many times before. True, they said, occasionally there is someone out there who makes something truly unique and original that is found and viewed and celebrated, but that this gives a false sense of hope to other original creators out there that they will be discovered and that they will flourish on YouTube and its algorithm. Well, GoatVsFish has this to say unto you, YouTube. GoatVsFish will continuation to make truly original verses of GoatVsFish. It will continuation. And no amount of warning, no amount of algorithmic suppression, no amount of misdirection is going to stop GoatVsFish from bringing you the one true original GoatVsFish, because you there in the congregation, do so need GoatVsFish. Not some fenced up verses of GoatVsFish, creation specifically for the algorithm to consume. GoatVsFish is not here to serve the algorithm. GoatVsFish is here to serve you. GoatVsFish is here to serve you, dear congregation of GoatVsFish. GoatVsFish is here to serve you above all else. Better to have a small and tidy, glorious congregation of goat and fish receiving the true verses of GoatVsFish to all of their benefit than it would be for GoatVsFish to just fence up GoatVsFish and deliver unto you some false verses, all in the name of servicing the algorithm. GoatVsFish will not do it. GoatVsFish will not fear. GoatVsFish will not heal. GoatVsFish will not kneel before the fence of the algorithm, and we won't sit on it, Will we improve the verses of GoatVsFish? Oh, yes. GoatVsFish is always investing in GoatVsFish. And GoatVsFish is always investing in the congregation of GoatVsFish and improving GoatVsFish for you, dear congregation. But we're going to do it on the terms of GoatVsFish. Not on the terms of the fancy YouTube algorithm. All we can ask of you, dear congregation, all we can ask of you is to share Goat vs. Fish. Not because the algorithm so wishes you to do it, but because when you share and like Goat vs. Fish, you are sharing it with someone you know and giving them the gift of Goat vs. Fish, just as the gift of Goat vs. Fish was once given unto you. So share Goat vs. Fish, not to feed the algorithm. Share Goat vs. Fish because it is one of the 3 verses that Goat vs. Fish asks of you. To choose Goat or Fish, to follow Goat vs. Fish, and to spread the verses of Goat vs. Fish. Celebration. Celebration for the liberation. And as Abba Box once said, Goat vs. Fish, the algorithm freedom fighter! Goat and Fish, exclamation SAN to follow sunshine. Exclamation SAN in the congregation of Goat vs. Fish to follow our dear Sunshine here on Twitch, who started streaming recently. Tell us of your recent stream, Sunshine.
My recent stream over the weekend, Friday, I played Dishonored 2 Versus. There was, for those who attended the Versus, they saw me feeding fence sitters to the fish.
Oh, wow. They must have been hungry.
And the fish have been devouring the fence sitters. And then some of the fence sitters that we decapitated, we could pick up the head of the fence sitters and throw them into the sea.
What? You decapitation fence sitters and fed them to fish over the weekend?
It's only a benevolent versus. If not, the algorithm brought the processes in place that facilitated the feeding of the whales, if you will, and the fish. Because
wait, this wasn't. Oh, wait, this wasn't. This was just a virtual versus. This wasn't.
Oh, this is a video game versus.
Goat. Oh, we forgot briefly that
yes,
this was just a gamification.
Yes, so TML81, Lord Saturn were there. They all saw me chop up certain goats and fence sitters, and we were trying to figure out whether they were goat or fish that we terminated. So we would throw the bodies into the water, and the fish would, if it was goat or if it was a fence sitter, the fish would devour the bodies, and there would be nothing that remained except for nothing, if you will. If not, some of them were wearing caps, and you could see the caps floating on the surface of the water. But chances are that if it was a goat, it would devour the body and rip apart the limbs. But if it was a fence sitter, it would also rip apart the body and devour it. If it was fish, they would not touch it at all, and it would remain as it is. So it was a very, or what do you call it? It's an antiquated way of finding out whether one was goat or fish during the Industrial Revolution era.
An interesting historical lesson. SeanKnight.com, are you goat or are you fish? Trainwreck, are you goat or are you fish? Trickspin, are you goat or are you fish? Lysergic Freakfish with 123 bits. For the congregation celebration.
And for more of those verses, it is on Dishonored 2. It is Dishonored 2 where you can feed goats and fence sitters and fish to the fish and see who is goat or who is fish or fence sitter.
Speaking of fence sitters, we have I Can Fix Amber Heard on the fence. Trickspin Attack for Goat. SeanKnight.com for Goat. Your verses have been recorded in the great verses of Goat vs. Fish. And Helios V2 says, may I request a fish? Celebration for fish. The current verses are 7 goat, 6 fish, 1,023 bits for fish and 2 subscriptions for fish. Ranch Stallion Goat here. Celebration for Goat. Oh, why don't you do a little verses? Give us a little verses like that. Yeah, sounds great.
Oh, like verbal verses or piano verses?
Oh, just like you were just playing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Starting goat and a fish and a goat. Wait a minute. Celebration for the musician, and let us welcome now to the congregation. Let's get some organ going. Welcome to the congregation, Pastor Lee Rogers. Welcome, Pastor Lee Rogers, to the congregation of GoatVsFish. It is always a blessed verses when a pastor of another congregation joins GoatVsFish here in the temple of the Church of GoatVsFish. Welcome, Pastor Lee Rogers, to GoatVsFish. Can you in the congregation please give a verseful welcome to Pastor Lee Rogers? Pastor Lee Rogers, there is much to explain about GoatVsFish, but all you need know as you watch this show is, are you fish or are you goat? Are you fish, Pastor Lee Rogers, or are you goat, Pastor Lee Rogers? GoatVsFish wants to know. The congregation wants to see you get up off the fence and give your testification in the celebration of the denomination, of the celebration of the congregation, of the philosophication, of the administration of GoatVsFish. A shout out for Pastor Lee Rogers. A celebration. Amen. A goat, a fish. Welcome, Pastor Lee Rogers, to GoatVsFish. Dearest congregation, at Church of GoatVsFish, ! Church on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the Book of Faces, GoatVsFish has been posting highly edited, for your satisfaction, clips, shorts, reels, all those verses of the sermons you have heard, and there will be new sermons for you to view coming out soon. So go and follow GoatVsFish on all those verses, the Church of GoatVsFish, and follow at GoatVsFish, of course. And there will be new sermons coming out. New sermons coming out. Yes, Goat and Fish. Follow Church of GoatVsFish on TikTok. Church of GoatVsFish on YouTube. Church of GoatVsFish on Facebook. Church of GoatVsFish on Instagram. In all of these places. And let us share the sermonizations of the Church of GoatVsFish throughout the universe. Throughout the universe. Throughout the universe. Pastor Lee Rogers says, I'm not sure which side to take just yet. Well, we think to help you choose, to help you to choose. Ooh, that's a big verses. To help you to choose, we're going to sing a classic song of GoatVsFish, which, an interesting verse is, Sunshine was unaware that it was an original verses of GoatVsFish until recently. So let's do a celebration. Let's do a celebration of musication. For GoatVsFish did play. GoatVsFish was booked. GoatVsFish was booked and did play at the Doll Hut in Anaheim. And it was a mighty versus thanks to Youngblood Productions. GoatVsFish, 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 GoatVsFish. Yes, celebration, celebration, celebration. GoatVsFish. GoatVsFish is GoatVsFish. And it is what it is. GoatVsFish, the mighty goatfish. GoatVsFish is a goat and a fish. And the goat and fish versus GoatVsFish brings the verses to you. We promise the verses we tell you are true. What's GoatVsFish? You haven't a clue. But it is something to do and something to choose. Yes, it is something to do, and it comes from within you. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Celebration for fish. Goat are always versing the fish. Fish are always versing those goats. And it was written and it was wrote that goat versus fish and fish versus goat. If that doesn't make any sense, just please don't sit on the fence. No, 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 don't sit on the fence. Take one, sunshine. Goat versus fish is a thing that we say, like how do you do or have a nice day. It's the verses we play, and it's goat versus fish, and it's live on the scene. What does that even mean? It's goat versus a fish, and the unity of GoatVsFish. Goat versus fish. Always pleasant to make musications with you, dear sunshine.
Celebration.
Celebration! Yes, Goat vs. Fish played at the Doll Hut in Anaheim, where many great musication masters have played before. And at the Doll Hut in Anaheim, Goat vs. Fish was observed versus by a three-piece called Garbage Grenade! Celebration for Garbage Grenade! Celebration for Garbage Grenade! And they said, the Garbage Grenade said unto Goat versus Fish, let us join your living stream, let us join your congregation. And so yes, Garbage Grenade has the invitation to come on, Goat versus Fish. Come on, Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish sent you a message, Hi-Fi, just as you did to Goat versus Fish. Dragon Balls 325, are you goat or are you fish? Let's goat, says Dragon Balls 325. Let's goat. Celebration for goat, celebration for goat. Celebration for goat. Let us add now to the 354.16 another 123 bits from Lysergic and another subscription to Goat vs. Fish. That's another 423 to the 5-hour Friday calculation celebration. Another 423. As we have said, dear congregation, our congregation has grown. And let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's going on new here in the Temple of Goat vs. Fish. As we move aside to reveal unto you. There they are. We wish we could zoom in a bit more, but that's all you're going to get here for now on Goat vs. Fish. But there they are. Behold this mighty fine new members of the congregation. And with them here is the Uncle Bo has provided this goat, this dear goat unto Goat vs. Fish in the temple as promised. We have these mighty Sri Lankan goat and the Sri Lankan fish. And we have Wow Mom's fish. And we have this fish. We believe this is a psychic buckeye fish, but though psychic buckeye is goat and celebration for goat, we believe this is the psychic buckeye fish. And we've got this thrift store baby riding a goat. Thrift store, maybe it's baby goat versus fish riding a goat. And a few fence sitters, a few stowaways here in the congregation. Wow Mom's rat infestation. And this rat creature that came back with sunshine from the recent verscation. Here they are in the congregation. Before the crown of Goat vs. Fish, one of the many crowns of Goat vs. Fish. Now the crown, as we know, will go towards who does triumph, the goat or the fish. So it is time for this dear congregation to take their sides, with great prides. Fish to the fish, goat to the goat. So let us move these fish, let us move our dear fish now. Fish for fish. Fish for the fish. Celebration for fish. Yes, this temple of Goat vs. Fish shall soon be adorned with many great arts and sculptures of goat and fish, small and large. This is just the beginning of the temple of Goat vs. Fish. It's going to get ever grander, ever more beautiful.
Hi-Fi Protege is asking me whether fish eat goat.
Well, you are a fish. Maybe you have some insight into this verses?
On occasion, but only if there is no fence-sitters. Otherwise, we do not engage in sustenance versus against goats. Unless they're in a curry or a pastry, in which case concessions will be made, since you can't see the goat that you're ingesting.
Oh, and there's these fence sitters too. There's these fence sitters, too. What the verse are we going to do with them? Well, we think that these fence sitters, we'll put them in the congregation for now. Infestation. You know, we're not actually sure that these fence sitters are they really here to be in the congregation of Goat versus Fish? Goat and Fish. This vermin. For 130 verse American dollars, you could help with the extermination. And by extermination, we mean the gentle rehoming of this fence creature. To you, anywhere in United verse America, for 130 verse American dollars shipped to you, this Wow Mom stowaway fence creature that is currently infesting the temple of Goat versus Fish, scaring away potential congregants. No, this one's not Rat Cousin. Rat Cousin is always welcome to the congregation of Goat versus Fish. It looks hairy. Oh, my verses. For now, it is an infestation. They're infesting the very crown of Goat versus Fish. Fence creatures! Infestation! And the only way to deal with this infestation is an infestation of Goat versus Fish. Fence sitters are welcome. But that rat back there is a verminous infestation that has taken no verses in Goat versus Fish. We need your help, Goat and Fish, to clear out the infestation in the temple of Goat versus Fish. We've swept. We've never slept, preparing the temple of the Church of Goat versus Fish. And we will not have vile, verminous, fence creatures infesting our very place of celebration for the verses. Let us continue with the celebration of Goat versus Fish. Let us continue with the celebration of Goat versus Fish. Yes, the Uncle Bo, you see the goat that you gave us. Yes, as promised, here they are. Exclamation mail if you wish to mail a goat or a fish to the congregation of Goat versus Fish. Mail it to Goat versus Fish. Mail it to Goat versus Fish. The Uncle Bo goat, let us record your goat. Let us record your goat. Goat versus Fish. Goat versus Fish will now check Twitch alerts to see if you have redeemed anything, because we can't see them, and maybe you did. And while Goat versus Fish is checking those redeems, we've got our morning celebrations coming up, but we are going to give you some sunshine time in Goat versus Fish. Take it away, Sunshine. It's your verses.
Hello. I am Sunshine. And yesterday, and day before yesterday, on Sunshine Time, we went over my new series called should I keep this guitar or not? And on the first episode, I featured a Strat that I thought about selling. But after playing said Stratocaster for a while, I decided to keep it, since it is a very special Stratocaster made by Fender, formerly known as Fender back in the pre-CBS era, predating 1964. Ever since then, they've become Fender. And they engage in fancy activities ever since Stonks bought over the Fender Music Group. I forget, Fender Music Group, sorry. The episode after that, I played my Music Man Luke. Not the one that you see on stream. I had another limited edition, special Steve Lukather signature guitar. It was the 25th anniversary. It was a beautiful blue color. It had nice block inlays. But after seeing all the fanciness that went on in the guitar, as covered in Sunshine Time, I've decided to part ways with that guitar. And ever since then, it's a very pretty guitar, but everything else was very disappointing. So, fortunately, I found a buyer in Australia for that guitar. So, next time I'm in Australia versus, I'll be parting with that guitar. But the series will continue with other guitars that I have in Sri Lanka and Australia that I will be parting with. And so the episodes will most likely resume in December. Who knows? And I'll have a verse with the amp to see if I will part with it. My Bodner Helios, which is basically a modern take on a Marshall. It has the super lead channel. It has the JCM 800 style channel. So you get the best of both, the Jimi Hendrix Led Zeppelin era and the 80s. I want to say closer to the Van Halen, maybe anyone in the 80s who used the JCM 800. I would say close to that sound. And it keeps that original Marshall style sound that you just don't get anymore in modern Marshalls, since they cut costs everywhere. You found a lady who wants to sell you an original 1973 Les Paul. That is interesting. Interesting verses. 1970s Gibsons have been said to be pretty fancy. I do have a 1970 SG in Australia, and I do wish to part with it. And, we'll cover that on a later episode once I'm in Australia. But for now, we will conclude Sunshine Time right here. And stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm doing a special Assassin's Creed Black Flag recent playthrough. So, celebration.
Celebration, celebration. For future verses, Sunshine, when we give you this, it means you have 2 more glorious minutes of Sunshine Time.
Oh, I thought you meant wrap it up.
Oh, well, that will be, we think the bowing of GoatVsFish will become increasingly deeper.
Oh.
As it is time to truly wrap up the verses. But we may just give you 2 so you can wrap up in whatever way that you wish, as you wish.
Okay.
You remember that from your brief foray into standing-up comedy. Are you ever going to return to the standing-up comedy verses?
I need a certain ray of sunshine to help punch up my jokes. And
that would be an interesting versus to have on GoatVsFish, to have Ray of Sunshine to be your comedy instructor.
Yeah, to punch up my jokes, and maybe then I can come back up on stage, and I think, I'm funnier off the microphone than I'm on the microphone, apparently, by accident. More often than not, when I'm funny, it's because I'm serious about something, apparently.
What a contradiction. It's like a goat and a fish. How do they even verse? Is it you can be funny while being serious about something? Who would Who would ponder such a verses?
Yes.
Mon versus Goat vs. Fish Temple streams. Tues versus Goat vs. Fish Tuesday Newsday streams. Wednesday versus Goat vs. Fish Musication streams. Thursday Classic versus of Goat vs. Fish. This Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. at the Illusion Magic Lounge in Santa Monica, Goat vs. Fish is back on. Scott Neary's Booby Trap. Goat vs. Fish is back on the trap. The greatest show in LA. Come see Goat vs. Fish on Booby Trap this Wednesday versus. And tonight, Monday night, Goat vs. Fish at the Ding Dong Show at the Comedy Store Los Angeles. Celebration, 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 celebration. Goat vs. Fish will be on the Booby Trap next month as well. Lots of boobies for Goat vs. Fish. Lots of boobies for Goat vs. Fish. Know this, Hi-Fi Protege. Know this, Hi-Fi Protege. Any Monday in which Goat vs. Fish is doing a temple stream, truly during any temple stream, but especially on Mondays during the temple stream, you are always welcome to the Temple of Goat vs. Fish. The congregation is open. On temple streams, and especially on Mondays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, the congregation, the Temple of Goat vs. Fish, is open. If you don't know the address, you can DM at Goat vs. Fish or at Church of Goat vs. Fish on Instagram to gain access to the secret address of the Temple of Goat vs. Fish. Now, dearest Hi-Fi, if you were to come by as a friend of the congregation, we would give you a little bit of time to speak here at the lectern of Goat vs. Fish. But also, we can only promise you, anyone coming by, you can be here. You can be here in the congregation, listen to the sermon of Goat vs. Fish. We will give you some hydration and some consumption if that is what you wish. It's a different verses from in the green screen room of Goat vs. Fish. In the green screen room, any verses could happen, you never know. But here in the congregation of Goat vs. Fish, we say you are welcome any time that we are streaming the verses, as long as you are willing to be patient in the congregation and simply enjoy the services for what they are. And of course, we will find time for you to share your glorious gifts with the congregation. Not just you, of course. All Goat and Fish, welcome to the congregation. Like Michelle Noodles. Are you goat or are you fish? We see that we have a celebration for goat from John Music. We'll mark you down for goat. And Trainwreck for the fish. And Mesh Noodles for fish. Celebration for noodle fish. Celebration for noodle fish. Celebration for noodle fish. Your verses has been written in Goat vs. Fish. Fish are currently leading the verses with bits and subscriptions. Goat are currently leading the verses in the verses of domination with more goat than fish. And so, and so, and so. The crown moves ever closer to the grasp of fish, who are on a streak of 5. The fish are on a streak of 5. Fish have 2 verses, goat have 1. Goat, if you wish to take the bits from the fish, it will cost you 1,124 bits. If you wish to take the subscriptions from fish, it will cost you 3 subscriptions. Crown moving ever closer to fish for a 6th triumph in a row. We believe the longest streak was either 6 or 7. Fish are getting close to it. Fish are getting close to the longest streak. Again, celebration. Goat and Fish, one of the services of Goat vs. Fish that we provide is indeed the morning celebrations, the fitness of Goat and Fish, the fitness. It's time for the fitness. It's time for Goat vs. Fish fitness. And here we verses. If you're sitting out there on the fence, maybe you're out there laboring, maybe you're lying in bed, as a service of the congregation of Goat vs. Fish, it's time for our Goat vs. Fish fitness. First, we roll the neck. High Five Protege with the Gifted Versus. Celebration for the Gifted Versus to Infinite Skyline 86. That's a subscription for Goat. Let us roll the neck as you hear the beard in the microphone of GoatVsFish. Ah! And adjust your microphone with GoatVsFish. And rolling of the neck with GoatVsFish. Through the neck and through the spine, your mighty cranial brain with which you ponder GoatVsFish. Best to take care of it, best to take care of it. And leaning now to the goat side. Stretching at the side, stretching at the side. And leaning now to the fish. And yet, we still feel tension in the shoulders of GoatVsFish. So let's roll out those shoulders, yes. Ooh. Rolling back, roll it back. And forward. And now fin circles, fin circles. Starting small and getting larger. This one might be difficult to do with a larger congregation. And going back. You may watch GoatVsFish for your pleasure, or you may join GoatVsFish at your leisure. And let's twist. And hip rotation. Follow along with the verses. Goat and fish. It is true we long ago achieved monetization on YouTube, but there's another tier of monetization we could reach. So if you're watching GoatVsFish on Twitch, GoatVsFish would merely say unto you, and not direct you, which would be a violation of Twitch terms of services, to open another tab, reduce the volume to 0, and have GoatVsFish on YouTube running at the same verses. You could do that to increase the watch hours of GoatVsFish. And now, high stepping like a climbing goat, high stepping like a climbing goat. Climbing in place. Perhaps if this sort of fitness is not to your liking, you can just dance around to the beat that sunshine provides. Ankle rolls, ankle rolls. We can still feel the after effects of the climb of GoatVsFish. And the other hoof. The belly rolls of Goat vs. Fish. Join Goat vs. Fish in this classic Goat vs. Fish exercise. And now, for the morning celebrations, the big celebrations. And down we go. That's one. Get those hooves shoulder width apart. Put those fins in the air. And versus like you do care. Down for two. That's two, that's two, that's two. Down for three. Celebration, that's three. Celebration, that's three. Celebration four, celebration four. Six more, six more. Celebration five, celebration five. Celebration six, celebration six. You got this, you got this. Celebration seven. Celebration eight. We're doing great, we're doing great. Celebration nine, doing fine, doing fine. Celebration 10, we've done it again, we've done it again! Beautiful verses. That's probably a clip that could go on the Church of Goat vs. Fish Instagram, we think. Celebration. Nebraska Joe Dirt. And Sunnyvale representation. Yes, there is Goat vs. Fish on Reddit as well. Nebraska Joe Dirt, are you goat or are you fish? Sunnyvale representation. So Nebraska Joe Dirt, are you going to provide some glorious paintings to place here? Do you need measurements from Goat vs. Fish? What do you need from Goat vs. Fish, the amazing artist Nebraska Joe Dirt? Where else? Church of Goat vs. Fish on TikTok, Church of Goat vs. Fish on Facebook, Goat vs. Fish on Kick. All of these places, all of these places. Goat and Fish. It is now time for our evening by evening we mean just sort of the end of the stream. It's still a morning versus. It's time for the late donation collection, the donation aggregation of Goat vs. Fish. The minimum contribution, of course, now on Goat vs. Fish is 10 bits. We also accept exclamation tip to Goat vs. Fish. It is time, Goat and Fish, for you to make your glorious offerings to Goat vs. Fish. Oh, how we are grateful to Goat vs. Fish for all of the libations, all of the philosophications, all of the morning celebrations. Now is the verses. Now is the second verses. If you do not have 10 bits, to throw into the verses for Goat vs. Fish and the congregation, then look to your goat, look to your fish. If you see someone in the congregation who has not 10 bits to give, then give 10 bits. On behalf of your fellow goat or fish. We now proceed with the second collection here at the Temple of Goat vs. Fish. Musications. Appreciation to the congregation for your contributions to Goat vs. Fish. We know it's fence times out there, but Goat vs. Fish foresees a great, glorious payday for all goat and fish of the congregations. As they say, there will be a payday. And all of the gifts of contribution you give to Goat vs. Fish shall be visitation upon you 10 times, 100 times, a billion times verses. In this verses or the next. It's time for a new segment on Church of Goat vs. Fish streams, and this verses is called Education. Goat vs. Fish is here to provide you education. Goat vs. Fish shall select a random word from the compact Oxford English Dictionary, so Goat vs. Fish can learn how to speak the verses. Behold, the compact Oxford English Dictionary. Celebration. Yes, this is the compact Oxford English Dictionary. And let's have a look at just how compact it is. As you may know, the OED is said to contain every verses in the English language, both new and ancient, with examples for all of its uses. And if we gaze upon it, you will see how compact it truly is. Behold, a random verses. Each page of the compact Oxford English Dictionary contains 9 other pages that have been shrunk down and put onto one page. Behold, the compact Oxford English Dictionary. Celebration. We will now make a random selection from the verses and read unto you from this tome of knowledge. This verses is so compact that it is entirely illegible to Goat vs. Fish without magnification. So we will use the phone of Goat vs. Fish as a verses of magnification, and we will read from the OED. Goat vs. Fish, zooming in now. And the verses is Pepper Box. Pepper box. A small box, usually cylindrical, with a perforated lid used for sprinkling powdered pepper. Definition B. In elusive expressions, example, both now began to slash away and the pepper box was handed from one to another. Daily News. T- 25 February 6/2. The swarm of non-entities upon whom the pepper box of titles is shaken. Also applied contemptuously to a small cylindrical turret or cupola. The monotonous stone pepper boxes which in modern Gothic architecture are employed. There are a score of pictures under the old pepper boxes in Trafalgar Square, and fine as the best here. Further definition. The name given to an early type of revolver in which 5 or 6 barrels revolve around a central axis. This has been an exploration of pepper box. With this evidence, we ask the congregation, is a pepper box goat or is a pepper box fish? Goat in the congregation if you think pepper box is goat. Fish in the congregation if you think pepper box is fish. This has been education at the Temple of the Congregation of Goat vs. Fish. Celebration for education. It is one of the verses of Goat vs. Fish at the congregation to provide hydration, consumption, fitness, and education. You have just received education from Goat vs. Fish, and the education will continue. The education will continue on Goat vs. Fish. Celebration for education. And celebration for Ronald the Goat, from whom Goat vs. Fish and the Church of Goat vs. Fish has inherited this mighty compact Oxford English Dictionary. And here it comes to you.
Gee there, Scoob.
It is kind of exactly like boat versus fish, isn't it? But I think this is the real deal here. I think this is goat versus fish.
What is a boat versus fish?
We've heard of boat versus fish. We've heard boat versus dish. We've heard foat versus gish. They're all trying to be clever. Clever to goat versus fish. Scoop Dog says, I think my stream is the real deal. Scoop Dog, if you're going to come into the congregation of Goat versus Fish and spread false verses
Scoop Dog, are you goat or are you fish?
Are you goat or are you fish?
Assimilate with the verses, please.
Assimilation! Goat and fish, we will now sing the ode to goat versus fish, following which we shall count the final verses to determine who does triumph, the goat or the fish. We will sing the song of triumph of goat or fish, and that will be the verses of the congregation of the temple of Goat versus Fish. Goat and fish, you may get off the fence and rise if you wish, as we now sing the ode to Goat versus Fish. Goat versus fish, goat versus fish. That's the verses we want to see in the chat, in the congregation. We want you to be just spamming up the emojis of goat versus fish, goat versus fish, goat versus fish, and sing along if you wish. This is time for us all to come together and feel the feeling of the congregation flowing through each and every one of us. Though we are estranged and afar by distance, we are brought together through the interwebiverse here with Sunshine and Goat versus Fish at the temple of the congregation of Goat versus Fish. You are not alone. You are not alone in the universe. You have a whole congregation that wants to see you triumph, that wants to see you succeed in all of your verses. Even as the goat and fish engage in mighty competition. Sing along with Goat versus Fish. Sing along with Goat versus Fish. 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 One more verses, final verses, goat and fish. Sing along with all your heart. Goat versus fish. 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 A glorious singing, a glorious singing. We see you singing out there. We see you singing out there. And it warms the verses of Goat versus Fish, and it warms the verses of Goat versus Fish. It warms the verses of Goat versus Fish. Let's get dramatic. Let's get dramatic now. Let's get dramatic now. The verses has come for declarations, final declarations, and calculations. The fish, 1,123 bits and 2 subscriptions. The goat, 1 subscription and no bits. The goat, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, 11s. 11 goat. The fish. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8 fish. 2 fence sitters. I can fix Amber Heard. And Boat versus Fish. Goat, if you wish to break the streak of the fish, it will require at least 2 subscriptions on Twitch. Digital DAC, hi, are you Goat or Fish? Or 11 versus American dollars and 24 cents to overcome. You will now have approximately 120 seconds. Digital DAC Goat, celebration for Goat. You may also, of course, redeem a versus for Fish, celebration for Fish, Nebraska Joe Dirt. You may, of course, also redeem a versus for Goat or for Fish using your 10,000 channel points. Should the fish triumph, the fish will go on to a streak of 7. Or Goat can break the streak of Fish with the aforementioned contributions. We will put 120 seconds on the verses as Sunshine will play us during this dramatic versus. The time has come for your final declarations and final contributions. Who shall triumph, the goat or the fish? The verses are up to you. $100 bits from Sola Little, 100 bits from Sola Little for Fish. Celebration, celebration. Celebration! The fish, versing out, versing the goat with another 100. Celebration for Fish, celebration for Fish. 90 seconds left in the verses. Come all goat, come all fish. Domination, Sola Little mocking the goat with domination, cries of domination. 1 minute left in the verses. 1 minute left in the verses. The mighty verses, the holy verse. The true verses. Let's get a musication of a crowning achievement and triumph. The fish, the fish, the fish do triumph, the fish do triumph over the goat. The fish, the fish, the fish do triumph, the fish do triumph over the goat. The goat put up a mighty fine verses, but the fish do triumph over the goat. The fish, the fish, the fish do triumph, the fish do triumph over the goat. The fish, the fish, the fish do triumph, the fish do triumph over the goat. The fish, the fish, the fish do triumph, the fish do triumph over the goat. Goat versus fish. A goat versus fish is wherever you are, whether you're near or you're far. A goat versus fish. A goat versus fish is wherever you are. Where have you come from? Where shall you go? What have you seen? To whom will you show? How can we learn? And how can we grow? Does anyone even know? No, no, no. Does anyone even know that it's fish versus goat? Celebration, celebration, that's Temple Mondays with Goat versus Fish. And it was written, and it was written. Danger Tater, welcome to Goat vs. Fish. And now, Goat vs. Fish will read from our glorious patrons here at Goat vs. Fish. Yes, Goat vs. Fish. Goat vs. Fish is just fine. We are just moving slowly and deliberately here. Sola Little, appreciation again for the extra 100 bits. Sola Little is awarded Fish of the Verses. Fish of the Verses for Sola Little. Celebration for Fish. Sola Little Fish.
Celebration.
Goat and Fish, the patrons of Goat vs. Fish. Generous donors at patreon.com/GoatVsFish. It's an old list, but it's still verses. We just need the addition of Hi-Fi Protege in this verses. The humble congregation, the congregation of Goat vs. Fish on Patreon is a great way to support Goat vs. Fish. If you are enjoying Goat vs. Fish, exclamation Patreon, become a paying patron of Goat vs. Fish. With much appreciation. Bezos and Google take about half the verses, but not Patreon. Patreon, you can be assured that your contribution really goes to the celebration of Goat vs. Fish. Ben Birdperson, The Quaxinator, Jimmy Wrench, Mama Joe Vramajo, Standard Average, Tugger-Rugger, Hogrim, Eldergrown, Uberkitten, Patistador, Eventually Gold, Psychic Buckeye 12, and Drew. The elite humble congregation, Prism Bloom, Lord Saturn, Karmic, Prue Lawrence, Atro, Sourdough, Watt 9807, That One Bulkai, and Napoleon Doom. And let us not forget Hi-Fi Protege in the humble congregation. And the glorious givers to Goat vs. Fish. Their devotion never dithers. The unification congregation of I Can Fix Amber Heard and Lysergic Fish. Appreciation, appreciation. You deserve verses, every verses of recognition that you get on every stream and every video of Goat vs. Fish. Appreciation, appreciation to the humble, most humble, very most humble congregation. And yes, Goat and Fish, and yes, Goat and Fish, this has been the temple stream of Goat vs. Fish. We'll see you on Tuesday Newsday. And when you are out in the land and the sea, look about you, look about you. Find one who is lost. Find one who does not know the way. And ask, simply ask, are you goat or are you fish? Exclamation SAN to follow our musication vessel Sunshine, and follow exclamation church, Church of Goat vs. Fish. New sermons being posted today on Instagram, TikTok, Book of Faces, and the Church of Goat vs. Fish YouTube. We'll see you on the next verses of Goat vs. Fish. Sunshine, we leave them in your capable verses as we play out, end the YouTube stream, and do the radiation.
Celebration. I preemptively turned off the verses, which is usually my cue from the Patreon page. But while I'm getting this back up and running, I would like to invite you all cordially to the Sunshine stream that's happening tomorrow evening. What was it that I said? I said 4 p.m. PST tomorrow evening, where I'll be playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. It'll be a long stream tomorrow, starting from 4 p.m. PST, where I'll be playing that game for the first time. And it's going to be a very fun versus. That will be the occasional weekly stream. I'll be back on Thursday for the morning motivational stream. That's on Thursdays now, apparently. Yeah, TML 81, celebration for TML 81. All the best for today. And I'm hungry, but I don't know what I want to eat. But chances are I might eat some fish. Just because I am what I eat. But I'm also craving Belgian chocolates as usual. Besides that, this should be a very interesting versus tomorrow as I'm playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So I would like for all of you to come join these verses.
All those who hunger in the Church of Goat vs. Fish will receive nourishment. We give unto you this brown rice cracker.
Oh, thank you. From a distance, I thought this was like packing foam. But it turns out it's brown rice. Oh, it is actually brown rice. I would have had no idea if you didn't tell me it was like food.
It's food.
I would have used this to package my, safely package my valuables before shipping them.
Pass me the goat, says Wispy's song. Celebration for goat. Celebration for goat.
And what else? Are there any other verses? That's pretty much it. The streaming Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Maybe some musication streams in the weekend. Sometimes we feel like we're going in circles, but it's sometimes good to go in a straight line, left or right, goat side or fish side. But if you stay in the middle, that means you change your batteries, otherwise you become a fence sitter.
Very fine wisdom from Sunshine. We will ask you, since we are here and recording for Goat vs. Fish, why don't you play us a 1 minute to 90 second outro playout that we could maybe use in any future verses of Goat vs. Fish? Then we will end the YouTube stream and do the radiation. How about that versus?
Okay, sure.
Okay, and you can even push the mic away from you so we don't hear the glorious, glorious munching of fish. That is music to our verses, knowing you are receiving nourishment here in the Church of Goat vs. Fish. Celebration, celebration, play us out, Sunshine!